Houston's elite entertainment show. It's all about pizzazz. Our show captures the glitz, glamour, vitality, and flair of Houston. This show will feature interviews with individuals that are making a positive difference in the community.
We will interview business professionals, celebrities, artists, and stylists. The list goes on and on.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to our show. We have a very special guest with us today. So you may have seen her on the E! Network reality series, Scouted. She was also nominated as Houston's 50 Most Influential Women of the Year. She has built a global empire. Page Park's Center of Modeling and Acting, known as the largest in the Southwest of the United States. And when you see some of the A-list talent that we have out there that we know as Angelina Jolie, Channing Tatum, Hilary Duff, the list goes on and on, she's responsible for that. So without further ado, help me welcome Page Parks.
All right. Awesome.
Hey,
how are you doing?
I'm great.
Thank you so much for joining us. Well, you've accomplished so many different things. You grew up in Houston. Let's go back to how was your upbringing?
Well, I am a Texas girl, so I think that's just part of the grit that you have, that you need to be in business. But I grew up in Texas. I grew up in Clear Lake. I was born in Denton, Texas. I went away for my education, and then Houston became the talk of the world internationally. And in 1980, there were no major modeling agencies here that were known worldwide. And coming from Europe, where I studied, I just came home to Texas. I've been here ever since.
Yeah, Houston's where the
Houston
heart is.
That's the hot spot. That's always been a hot spot.
A lot of beautiful girls and guys, of course, in Texas.
A little bird told me that your mother, Joy, found some talent on you. Tell me some more about that.
Well, I think that still to this day I support moms and kids discovering the arts or whatever it is that we're all good at, that unfortunately is not a guaranteed living. Maybe your parents care about you, but my mom let me be an artist. She was an accountant, so she did not understand me at all, and I was fascinated by turning the curtains into dresses. Or
oh wow, that's amazing! That's a great talent. Oh my
so
gosh!
she would come home and we would have no curtains. So she finally decided I was
But she had a dress.
talented.
Right?
Yeah,
But you had a
I had
dress.
lots of dresses.
Yes. Oh, amazing!
my
That's
goodness.
great.
But we should watch our kids. Is the point? Whatever it is we love is what we should get to do.
Man,
That's what I've been
awesome,
doing with my three
awesome.
kids.
What would you say the one thing that probably you could contribute to your success? What's one thing?
Well, I'm a big crybaby, so it's not that I'm tough. People think she's got to be tough, and then they meet me, and I'm this tiny little girl, really, and run the business very much from my heart. I would say that I don't know if it's right for everyone, but it was a journey that started with many of these kids that I represent today, of me representing their mom and dad 39 years ago. On April 1st, we opened on April Fool's Day.
Oh my gosh, on April Fool's Day. Yeah.
Anyone
That
I
was
would
no joke.
No joke, right?
when I would tell people what I was going to do, the first thing they would say is, "You got to be joking."
Oh my goodness.
So the invitation did say, I'm clearly not joking. So
It's no joke.
But the company, I think, is great because you have to change the shoes you're in and, wear the shoes of people trying to communicate with you. And I just always really cared about them for some reason,
Okay.
It
was inborn a little bit.
So,
Well, I think I fought for their money. I fought for their well-being. I fought for their safety. And I had discovered so many people that you couldn't mess with me long term, or you got cut off from all the goods. So,
Yes,
which
indeed.
brings me
All right.
into, I know that you're a child advocate.
yes.
And I love the fact that you really take in these kids as your own, and you look after their well-being. So with some of your philanthropy work, just tell me a little bit more about that.
Well, first of all, that's the crazy part of me. It says I'm a model agent and a talent agent, but in all actuality, they have to have a foundation that they can stand on and grow on. So a lot of work is done on the inside of the talent that is found, which is not what I'm paid for. It is the magic, again, that I think makes it work, is that they could trust me. And this isn't something that you do overnight. It took 39 years, so.
But you had to have the belief. You've always had the belief in yourself.
Well, I mean, if you tell the truth, you don't have to remember what you say. And it's just, again, it's pretty magical. It's not easy to do. I'm in a business where I have to tell you your hips are too big, or, I like the gap in your teeth, or whatever.
Yeah.
And then
Woody
make it
Harrelson,
work.
Or Woody, or Woody Harrelson. You will
Yeah.
never-
Very honest. That's a good thing.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, but Woody, I told he was chubby and balding, and that I
Oh, man.
didn't think he could be a leading man. So, not everyone needs to listen to me. Woody went to LA and got booked for his first interview that was probably his roommate in his car because he had nowhere to live. And he got the part. They named the Cheers character Woody Harrelson.
All right.
So,
So
So,
my
yeah. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
sorry. My question to that now, since you're talking about him not thinking that he was going to get the part, fear. Everybody has fear. How do you deal with that? To break through that? To become
well, I
successful?
think Woody still had fear. I think that every great talent learns how to handle that fear, because it doesn't go away. Every time I see a beautiful talent, I have to be inspired to represent you. So, the fear works on both behalves.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's like, I think I can make you a star, but there's no guarantee that, and I have to say that all day long.
Okay, thank you.
And there was a day I'd never done it before. So therefore, some parent had to trust me. You had some, so it's kind of easier now.
But I think you do have a special
yeah.
gift. You definitely do.
But yeah, that's there, especially spot talent, and
Right.
skill sets like that. What would you say as far as in your career,
Mhm.
the whole path and the road that you took, the dark moments that happened in the career where you said, "Hey, I don't know what I'm doing, or what am
Yes.
I doing?" Right?
Yes.
Where am I
So
going?
often we would have to have another show. For some reason, people think when you're successful that the first thing I told you is that I cry. I'm a real live girl. I'm also very feminine. I think people meet me and think I'm going to flip you over my back or something. And I'm like, ah!
Peace.
So, I try to always just be myself, be kind, be real, be gentle, just say I don't know if I don't know. And it's, as far as fear goes, it's a matter of changing their state of mind and getting the subject matter to be how great they are. And to be an actor, you have to get the job before I get the job. So use fear can also just be a wonderful thing. It is a thing, and you learn how to deal with it.
Yes,
I don't
indeed.
think it goes away. I think it can charge you to be amazing.
But sometimes it just takes over you, and you
Yes,
just
and those are usually, those times have kind of gone away. I try to manage everything at this point so I can make it through tomorrow.
What is your mission? Our viewers are out there. They love, the essence of you, but they really like to know what's behind Page Parks and what's your mission in life.
Well, most people know I adopted 3 children. So after changing the lives of regular people like, Channing Tatum, I thought I would really do my best to change some life. So that is where I took it to a higher level, thinking that people were happy when I got them a movie, but what if I gave them a place to sleep, So all of a sudden it was so much bigger to me than a movie. So
That's outstanding.
That's amazing.
Outstanding.
it's crazy. I'm crazy.
So-
Hearing a whole bunch of humanitarian in you. Right?
Yes.
That's what I'm
Well, I
hearing a lot
just-
of.
and again, I don't know what that is because it's in my everyday work. Like if I'm, in line at Kroger, I, for some reason, become inspired and,
Yes.
just start
No,
doing
that's
it where,
right.
it's like, here it comes.
That's outstanding.
With me having 4 kids too, right? You have 3 now that are here. What is your daily routine to become successful? I'm sorry, I'm Colombian, as you know, my accent.
It's
I know,
wonderful.
right?
You need to come to the agency.
Yeah, I know. Thank you. So, what is the routine that you do to keep it up?
Well, again, you have a lot of not so good days, where you have frogs jumping out of your purse and you're at the meeting and, the TV show's waiting, and it's not near as fun as it may sound. I think it's a struggle. Thank God I was successful before I adopted the children, because I wouldn't want to just define myself by any of the things I've done, from adopting kids to running a huge corporation for almost 40 years.
How old are your kids?
17, 16, and 15.
Oh, wow.
man.
And when they were
Teenagers.
adopted, they
Teenagers.
were
You have your hands full.
5 months, 1 and
Goodness.
3.
My
So
goodness.
they were siblings.
Oh, man.
They were siblings. Oh,
Yeah.
that's so good.
And they're amazing human beings. They'll add to the world for
They're a
sure.
reflection of you.
They're really cool.
Man.
But it's more of a reflection of what I was doing for everyone else. I just didn't know that it would change people's lives.
Man, what point would you say that you kind of like transitioned in your life to saying, I want to open up a modeling agency. I really want to give in that respect to society. What point was that? Everybody has seasons.
Yes, I think I was fascinated by the fashion business, and my mother found a college in Europe, so I picked a school that was the furthest away and the most expensive, thinking I wouldn't have to attend college. So when that went south, and I went to fashion design school, through that process I learned to love the model inside of the clothes, and I felt they needed protecting, they needed to be paid, and they were the reason that my dress was selling, so I just found them just powerful.
Yeah.
And so I just kind of took that power and made people treat them with respect, and myself, and like I said, I have had the great success that I've had because of the talent and the staff. It's not just me. You have to keep people believing in your vision, and sometimes that goes south,
That's right.
where I have to say, you're just no longer my brand, because my brand is kind and caring. I don't care how beautiful all of you are. So
That's
That's
great.
outstanding.
Very strong, yeah.
Outstanding.
What would you say to our viewers that just give them, they want to start their own business?
wow.
Because
Well,
you started so
don't do
long
that with
ago.
your heart, for sure. I always did, but I think if you're going to start a business, you have to look at what you love to do in your spare time, because that's what's put away and told that you won't make any money. And I honestly believe that what you love, whether it's skateboarding or fashion, or that you can make a living doing that. I've never been unemployed.
Outstanding.
Yeah, so go for it.
Yes.
No fear.
What gives you the motivation to continue doing what you're doing? It looks like you have so much passion.
Yeah.
For this.
I hope everyone could find that. That's like the treasure, in the box. I don't know why I got to find it, but I know that if it weren't for the talent, I wouldn't have gotten to do this for them. There's not many agents that have ever lasted this long, much less. They call me and say, I'm 50 years old, Paige, and you sent me to Paris when I was 17, and you changed my life. And now I'm an attorney, or they're not even, they never
impacted
became.
them.
Yeah.
It's all about
So
impact.
cool.
That's a huge
And
impact.
that's what we do
But
on
there's
here at
hundreds
Pizazz.
of them.
People
Those
making an impact.
makers, right?
Yeah, and
Huh.
so don't fit in, just stand out. I wasn't the smartest girl in the world. I was very dedicated.
And talented. I
And
love
the,
that.
but the dedication, I'm still so excited. I think the staff is waiting for me to become unexcited. I'm sure it gets old.
They want you
They're
to
like, there
retire.
she is.
Yeah, she is.
Oh my goodness, do they
You
ever?
inspire them. I've been over there.
know,
She
I
is
know.
amazing. She
Yeah.
handpicks every single person
They're
to work in her
amazing.
office.
Awesome.
Some of
Yeah.
them have,
Man.
the vice president started there when she was 17. Her name is Tabitha Garcia. But just to say, yes, you can.
Yeah.
I don't care what your dad says you can do. You can run this company. So,
Man, awesome.
it's been a great place to let talent shine. They're so comfortable in there.
So, bringing up talent, you are a connoisseur when it comes to spotting out good talent, right?
Yes.
We've heard
Cute
that over and
boys.
over.
Yeah.
And so, I understand there
You
was a-
could have found Channing Tatum.
Man,
Yeah, I mean, he's that cute.
You got to remember,
Right.
she
Yes,
when they were younger, like we see them now, but
Yeah.
she got a hold of them when
Yeah, they're
all,
little
like,
seeds of,
Yeah.
and then you plant them in the
Develop 'em,
dirt,
right,
and you
and water
pray
'em.
for sun and a little bit of rain and
What
some
was
clouds.
the first thing did you say to him when you saw him?
Well, it's a very professional atmosphere. What I fell in love with Channing Tatum about was the kindness he showed his mother. This is the truth. Just a kind kid. You can tell to this day that's a good boy.
That tells a lot
Oh,
about their
yeah.
character.
A
and
lot.
their
But I thought
integrity.
someday he's going to treat me like he's treating his mother, which is special and kind.
You got good
And
eye, good
Oh,
instinct.
yeah.
Yes.
Good instinct.
I don't know. I've had a few boo-boos.
So there's science behind it, though, because I'm sure you spot talent, and when you spot it, sometimes you have a longer period of time to converse with the person.
Yes.
And then there's those times where you spot talent in a very short window of time.
Yeah.
And I understand you spotted talent through Angelina Jolie.
Yes.
And you had to think on your feet very
Yes.
quickly. as
And
to
all
what to
of
say.
all of you do as well. Those are the opportunities that I just see them all over the place. I can't even take advantage of them enough. They're just so abundant. But yes, she got in an elevator and said, "I hate models." And,
Oh, really?
How ironic is that?
and I said, "Wow, me
man.
too. What's your name?" And then the next thing I knew, we were picking her up at the airport, and she was coming in to work for J.C. Penney's.
Wow.
But again, she was only 5'7". She wasn't the typical tall enough model. So we've geared them towards acting for a long time now, a couple of decades.
Oh, yeah.
You know, we will start them as models, but pretty
Right on the
instantly
other
they're
side.
studying acting.
So you have your career day to where you groom all the talent, you get them ready, but then people from all over the world, from Paris and Switzerland and London and all the major fashion iconic places, they come in to view the talent that you have nurtured and lifted up and prepared for this moment.
And not advertised on the radio. You know what I'm saying? It's not like come one, come all, come to Page
Exactly.
Parks.
America's Got Talent or something.
Right. Well, and there's also
Something
not
wrong.
like 10,000 people there. There's about 150 or 160 or something. So, yes, they're all trained by Page Parks. They're all scouted by Page Parks. We're the mother agency, so these are kids we're going to place all over the world. And, of course, people come for miles and miles around to see what the Page Parks Corporation has found that year.
It's a huge
Awesome.
opportunity.
Yes. How old are the
Awesome.
kids? What
They're
age?
about 13 to 21, maybe.
I know what you're thinking. She's like, my
my-
kids would be great.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Exactly.
I
Yeah.
can see how that was going.
my twins. One of my twins. That
Even girls like Alexis Bledel, who was booked for the Gilmore Girls, she went to this event 3 times before she was discovered.
Really?
Yeah, so
Because each time is an experience. You're learning more and more by going through it.
well,
As a-
and the job
talent.
pops up for the Catholic schoolgirl.
that's
So the shot, she was a Catholic schoolgirl, so she felt really comfortable in that little outfit. Also, if I would have sent Angelina Jolie to be Alexis Bledel on the Gilmore Girls, I would be fired. You know what I mean?
Right
It
off
wasn't
the
what
bat.
they were looking for.
Yeah.
No, so it has a little bit to do with how it all lines up.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes. I see that you have so much going on in success that I wonder what is it that you do to keep it up to.
Well, first of all, I meditate every day. You know, I have to keep my own head straight. And my life has not been perfect. To be successful is a huge sacrifice. And like I said, I'm not a bully. I'm not a big girl. You know, I just work hard and tell the truth and find stars and just have always known that I worked for them. I think that's part of
You weren't chasing the money. You were chasing the
Oh, yeah.
heart and the impact that you could have.
Well, I've never been too good at chasing money.
But
You
it
know,
always
I
comes when
need
you
I
love
need
what
to
you're
learn
doing, the
that
money
at
will come.
61. If we can have the next show about how to chase money.
Have you ever gave up or something in your life to be successful?
Yes, I'm divorced. You know, I have had. There is no doubt what it takes to run a company is unfortunately different than what it takes to run a household. You know, it all looks like you're wonderful, but you're really just like everyone else.
Yes, go through the same struggles.
And I often look around like, I wonder who they're talking about, you know, because it was so organic. There was no Google. You know, when people say, I Googled you, I'm like, so you had to look people in the eye. You had to feel it. You had to do it. So it was a different time.
Completely.
Oh yeah, totally different.
I mean, now
time
people
frame.
just lay in bed and Google me.
Social media is
I
coming
know,
out, right?
a
It's
long
really-
way.
Luckily, there's no pictures from 1980 because no one had a camera.
No one had a camera back then.
Nobody was, you know, or
And
we
they
would
weren't
all
even
be in
thinking of
trouble.
that.
This,
That's
this
right.
is this
They
is
weren't
not
thinking of that.
No.
this is
Right.
not new. There just was no camera.
I know my kids Googled me and they found a picture of me and they're like, "Mom, you're famous." And
I wasn't asked what picture. What did you find?
Well, again, it just doesn't take much to be on Google. It took a lot to build this company. So when people say I Googled you, I'm like, wow, that's the only place you've heard of me.
Right. You have to do
Nobody
that.
told you the good news.
We have to tell them sometimes to read a little bit.
Right.
So I understand that there was a Houston Chronicle. And basically an article talked about how you mentor these children coming in, and you provide that education and that actual how they get their conviction up, because of course you have to be convicted in what you do, right? So that you have that little 30-second conversation elevator of courage.
Yes.
Right? So
And to say what their parents would say if they had that 30 seconds. But from myself or my staff, it's extremely absorbed by the child or the young person. The greatest thing that I've ever done in my life is this new teen mentorship camp that we have. And the slogan is "No perfect people allowed." So it's the same strength I've given all these beautiful girls over decades of time, and boys. Believe me, boys need it as much as girls. But we change their state of mind and teach them how to have the tools to have your fear ignite you as opposed to shut you down. It's all learned.
It's all learned.
It's a learned skill.
Sounds like changing the mindset.
Yes.
And, if they get
And
the
I teach them
personal
this, the 7 habits of highly effective teenagers. And, I'm one of those kids that didn't fit in, that didn't know how to please my mom, or, I was just like everyone else.
Trying to find your place in the world.
And, again, my mother was single, divorced, so I think that had a whole lot to do with this. There wasn't time to be such a kid. You had to buck up and
independent.
Keep your word, just some basic stuff that no longer exists.
But
No time to relax.
Yeah,
That's
I think we
right.
need to start a movement.
Awesome.
But it's to get to teach everyone when before you had to, be beautiful or tall or talented to get in my office. So any of you, watching that have a teen that you think could use that type of program, it's just been the best. There's probably a lot on Google about it.
Oh yeah. Enough,
Developmental.
Well, and also get a mentor, get someone like me that is so enthusiastic about helping you. People at the top are super nice people.
Oh yeah.
I mean, really, they are.
Oh yeah.
And you can catch her at pageparts.com.
Thank
So
you.
who's your mentor?
My mentor would have been my mom for sure. I learned that girls needed to know how to take care of themselves in every way. My mom was a working mom in the time where if your mom worked or was divorced, then people couldn't come to your house. It was so long ago.
Yeah.
So, I had to get tough. I remember thinking or asking my mom, like, can you believe Susie can't come over because you're divorced?
Oh man.
So the times are now you couldn't find a married mother.
Right.
Right, you
Exactly.
can't. Yep.
But it
Changed.
made me a very strong girl, and for some reason she would tell me that the neighbors had to eat dinner at the same time every night because that's what dads made you do. So I thought
More structure.
Yeah.
I thought we had it made. I'm like,
You're like,
hey man, we eat dinner
Yeah,
when we
got it
want
now.
to.
Yeah, you just
We
find
got
it for
it.
yourself. Just make your own meal.
Pretty much, that's what it probably really
I
was.
know. I can attest. I was
That's the
there.
independent
It
side.
probably
Raised with
really
single
was
mom.
make your own meal.
No, we just found whatever the
Make your own
leftovers
meal.
or the sandwiches.
That's right.
like,
You got to eat sometimes. Right?
Yeah.
You got to make a way, right?
It's rough when your mom worked in whatever year that was, 1965 or something.
I don't say years, but anyway.
Yeah.
Years.
There's the
Years.
time frame, man. That's awesome, man. I'm
Good.
loving what I'm hearing from you, and I know our audience is as well. Somebody out there is listening to this show right now that is finding the sense of motivation, inspiration, and then just the tenacity, because what you breathe is tenacity. and wanting to stay in it and sticking to it to
Yeah.
get where you want to go.
But I don't think I'm very, bright. I think I'm just, I'm not a good quitter.
You're very humble.
Not a
You know what I'm
quitter.
saying? I just
That's
keep
right.
going and keep
Perseverance.
going
Oh,
and
yeah.
Love
keep
that
going, and you knock me down, and I just like
You're
think,
the Energizer
oh.
Bunny that won't quit.
But that's why they say that.
But
at
that's
the end
all
of the
it
day,
takes, I think.
Yeah, that's all it takes,
It's
because
just show up.
knowledge without action.
Yeah.
What
Show up
happens?
I am way action oriented.
You are action oriented. I can see action person.
Oh
right
yeah.
there.
Oh yeah.
You can also drive other people crazy. So part of it is you have to learn how to get out of everyone else what you need to be successful. So that means I don't hire people that are like me, or that we're all different. We all bring something to the table.
We can all learn from each
So-
other.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yes.
that is awesome. Awesome, man. I want to see your office.
Y'all need to come on by. Come to Agent Review, or
Yes.
even the Teen Mentorship Camp is so powerful because the teachers are Tony Robbins teen
Oh,
coaches,
outstanding.
and then myself, and just
Yeah.
some great people.
Icons.
That's
Amazing.
usually what's I think needed as far as kids are concerned at the elementary level. Put
I'm
personal
trying.
development right in there, and now you really change
The
what happens. The
mindset,
mindset,
yeah.
and as those kids go from generation to generation,
Especially
and
girls,
Have
they
more
were
belief in
behind.
Oh
themselves.
yeah.
Different ethnic groups were behind.
Mhm.
Today in the industry, the thing that is the most popular is to be ethnic. So what a blessing, when all of my life you needed blonde hair and blue eyes to do this business for some silly reason, and now you wouldn't work.
Mhm.
You need to be ethnic. It doesn't matter
Yeah.
what.
That's outstanding.
But that's outstanding.
Oh, yeah.
I
Oh,
mean,
yeah,
that's
definitely.
39 years later.
Yeah.
When I
yeah.
fought for the first, African American girl, the first Asian girl.
Yeah.
The Asians were last after the Hispanics.
Man.
And then now we still haven't recognized the Indians, which are the wealthiest minorities in America.
Oh,
And I
yeah.
love their accent.
Yeah. Yeah.
Love their
Well,
accent.
regardless if you like their accent, they need to be represented.
When you're
They
from
do.
another country,
They
you
do.
admire other
Yes,
people.
no,
You know
I'm
what
I'm
saying?
joking, but we don't always get to talk to them.
Yes,
But at
you do.
least we need
Yes, yes.
Yeah, you do.
that their culture exists. So things used to be very typecast, where if you were Indian, you became the cab driver of the movie. Now you're the lead role. If it doesn't matter what.
Well, guys, I think this was an awesome show. Awesome
Thank you,
experience.
thank
Thank
you
you.
We
for
definitely
having
wanna
me.
have you back on the
Yes.
show.
Please do.
Um,
I have no trouble talking.
Yes, yes.
We love it.
This is 2019. This is all about Pizazz, and we are here with the famous, infamous Paige Parks. Guys, so tune in with us every Monday. We come on live at 12 noon and at 6:30 p.m. And
That's right.
we definitely
And you can find
love
us at
these.
it's allaboutpizzazz.com.
Yes.
Bye.